I'm sure a lot of you who grew up during the YouTube days of the 2010s were traumatized by this video. And for those of you who weren't, congrats on being normal. What you're looking at here is a claymation parody of The Simpsons couch gag, created by online stop-motion legend Lee Hardcastle. You might also recognize him from this absolute nightmare fuel. Hardcastle has since gone on to make some pretty brilliant shorts for Adult Swim, but this video is where many people first discovered his work. And here's the thing, it's only the first episode in a 5-part series. I've followed the series for years, it's basically grown up alongside me, and I thought it'd be fitting to finally do a proper deep dive on it. So stick around, because in this deep dive, we're going to unravel the entire series, and trust me, the deeper it gets, the stranger it becomes. If you haven't seen the series yet, I recommend checking out Hardcastle's channel and watching them in full before continuing. Just be warned, they're disturbing, but worth it if you can handle the horror. So what's the deal with this series? As I mentioned, it parodies the classic Simpsons couch gag, and if you've somehow been living under a rock, the couch gag is that bit at the end of the opening credits where the family rushes to the couch, but it changes every episode. It's a staple of Simpsons humour. In episode 1, Hardcastle takes that wholesome tradition, and, well... I won't show the goriest moments here, but trust me, it gets dark. Fast. And that's exactly why it blew up. It's the perfect combination of nostalgia and shock value, but here's the twist. This isn't just random gore. This short directly parodies the 2011 slasher film You're Next, a home invasion story about masked killers who descend on a family reunion with machetes, crossbows, and pretty much every murder weapon you can think of. What makes it interesting is the way Hardcastle uses this mashup as a great example of internet remix culture. You take something universally loved, smash it together with a cult horror movie, throw in Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, and suddenly you've got this surreal, horrifying, but oddly brilliant piece of internet parody. The short also ends with an important twist. Just like in You're Next, where the final girl, Erin, fights back, here Marge steps into that role. She actually fights off the attackers to protect Lisa. Well, that is until she's killed by Chief Wiggum, who mistakes her for one of the assailants. A pretty tragic end. But yeah, the family is slaughtered, credits roll, and the internet has its newest viral horror short. Episode 1 became the most popular entry in the series, and it's easy to see why. It's shocking, effective, and stands perfectly on its own. But in the broader context of the series, it's personally my least favourite when compared to the rest. Out of all the notes I've written for this project, episode 1 actually has the least to cover. Episode 2, aptly titled Reservoir Dogs, focuses on a bank heist, a crucial event mentioned but never shown in Tarantino's debut film by the same name. Hardcastle uses it as a jumping off point, while also weaving in Pulp Fiction's glowing briefcase. What elevates this episode further though is the noticeable soundtrack, a lo-fi remix of Max von Syrens' piano cover of Where Is My Mind by Pixies. That cover gained popularity after its use in the season 1 finale of Mr. Robot, a show deeply influenced by Fight Club, where the original track closed the film. By layering this reference in, Hardcastle isn't just borrowing a cool song, he's embedding his work in a chain of intertextuality about rebellion and anti-establishment culture. It's a perfect example of how internet remix culture thrives on layered references, collapsing multiple generations of pop culture into one moment. The episode ends with only one thief escaping with the briefcase, much like Steve Buscemi's character at the end of Reservoir Dogs. We then see this mysterious figure return to the Simpsons' living room, still marked by the massacre of episode 1. But who is this survivor, and why do they matter? The answer to that comes in episode 3.
Idly ho, neighborinos!
That's right, the masked figure is revealed to be none other than Ned Flanders. And in the background, is that Marge I hear? So after that cold open, episode 3 begins with a quote. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Quite profound. Who's it by? I'm pretty sure this was Nelson Mandela. Okay. So I actually had to look into this one. It's a quote by American author and political activist Marianne Williamson in her 1992 book, A Return to Love. And for some reason, as it happened to roughly coincide with Nelson Mandela's inauguration in South Africa, many attributed this to him, even though he never said it. Once again, it's a small but telling example of how the internet mutates culture, and that's the lesser example featured in this episode, because it's titled Fabulous Secret Powers, which for those of you who didn't grow up during early 2000s meme culture, is a music video parody which features a cover of a 90s rock ballad by four non-blondes called What's Up, and splices clips of the 80s cartoon He-Man and the Masters of the Universe to make it look like Prince Adam, He-Man's alter ego, is singing the song. And that's exactly what this episode is. It's He-Man and the Masters of the Universe mixed with The Simpsons, with Elfo from Disenchantment thrown in as the comic relief character Orko. You know, the more you analyze the series, the more it just becomes this. So what's the actual plot of this episode? Well, the sounds of Marge groaning in the back in the cold open was no mistake. It is revealed that Marge survived the family attack. Traumatized but strengthened, she recruits Ned to steal the briefcase in episode 2 on her behalf. Now bulked up, a nod to the Strong Arms of the Ma episode, she arms herself with the Sword of Power and storms Castle Grayskull alongside Ned, freeing Elfo and retrieving the iconic time-traveling toaster from Treehouse of Horror 5. Jeez, I sound like the comic book guy.
Worst crossover ever.
There you go, that's my Simpsons reference for the video. So, okay, that's surely it for episode 3, right? Well, there's one more end credit scene. A parallel universe where Homer is still alive? Okay. Why is Marge a humanoid rabbit thing? Well, this is actually a reference to an early concept idea Matt Groening had for The Simpsons, in which Marge was a secret rabbit humanoid in disguise, her rabbit ears hidden under her towering blue hair. Yes, I'm being completely serious. It was originally meant as a joke to tie The Simpsons in with another of Matt Groening's early comic strips, Life in Hell, which featured anthropomorphic rabbits. This idea was scrapped though, obviously, and for good reason, but it was referenced in The Simpsons arcade game where you can see Marge's rabbit ears in some of her sprite animation. It's a pretty cool piece of Simpsons trivia, and here Hardcastle revives it as another layer of obscure Simpsons lore. Episode 4 shifts gears, parodying Todd Phillips' Joker with Krusty the Clown as its Arthur Fleck, while also nodding to Taxi Driver, the Scorsese film many accused Joker of imitating. This was a timely choice, as Joker had become a global cultural symbol of anti-establishment rebellion, adopted by protest groups worldwide. Once again, Hardcastle uses parody not only to reference, but to comment on how media symbols are appropriated. This episode is probably the least detached from the central plot of the series, but it's honestly one of my favourites. There's this really pretty lo-fi track that plays alongside it, which samples a clip from a Woody Allen movie called Manhattan. The sample in question is a scene where the main character breaks up with a 17-year-old girl. His character is 42, by the way. Yeah, yikes. But the way this soundbite is used is to show how Homer in his reality cannot love Rabbit Marge, as he loves his own Marge.
Well, don't you love me?
The truth is that I love somebody else.
You do?
Quite sad, really, though completely absurd. I mean, seriously, what am I even talking about here? There's just something about internet culture that just transcends regular conversation. I mean, imagine trying to explain to a Victorian child the internet's search for the lost A Day with SpongeBob DVD. If you know, you know. Anyways, the episode ends with Lisa as young Jodie Foster's character, now positioned as the narrative's central figure, seizing the time-traveling toaster and vanishing. Where she ends up sets the stage for the finale. The final episode opens with Lisa stranded in Antarctica, 1982. Wait, Pingu? Alright, so this is a callback to one of Lee Hardcastle's other shorts called Thingu, a parody of John Carpenter's The Thing, using the cute claymation format of Pingu. Cutting to the title card, we see this episode is called Inglourious Bastards, or Bustards in the video's actual upload, a wordplay on Blockbusters, I believe. Quite fitting, because when we cut back, the setting shifts to a cinema, where the audience is watching the first episode of the series. This here is the fundamental moment. The moment this whole series has been building towards. It's the moment that reveals the series' true purpose. Meta commentary on how parody, remix, and internet culture constantly recycle and collapse into themselves. Just as The Simpsons parodied culture for decades, Hardcastle parodies The Simpsons, then parodies his own parodies, creating a loop where pop culture consumes itself. It's simply beautiful. In the climax, Lisa confronts Ralph in the projector room, armed with a gun and the toaster. Ralph offers her a YouTube Silver Play button, a direct nod to Hardcastle's real-life milestone as an independent creator reaching mass recognition. Violence follows, both die, cut to the soundbite played at the end of every Simpsons episode.
Shh.
That sound is actually sampled in the background track for this episode, by the way, which is why I believe it's the final end to the series. Back to the cinema, we see not only Pingu, but the ultimate collection of beloved claymation characters including Gumby, Morph, a California Raisin, I think, and the ultimate MVP, Postman Pat. They've all shown up brandishing weapons and slaughter everyone in the audience, including this guy who is wearing a Claycat shirt, which is one of Lee Hardcastle's other parody series. I guess it's because he's a die-hard fan who probably takes Hardcastle's work way too seriously. And yes, I realize that by making a deep dive on this series and passionately explaining each of the references, I am that person. But yeah, the characters wreak havoc and blow up the theatre, basically symbolizing how parody culture can compound on itself. So much so that it collapses under its own weight and implodes, ending the series in a climactic celebration and critique of the very internet ecosystem that elevated Hardcastle in the first place. At least, that's my interpretation. Lee Hardcastle's Simpsons Couch Gag series is a one-of-a-kind piece of stop-motion artistry. Beyond its gore and shock value, it's a fascinating exploration of internet remix culture. How old IPs, cult films, viral memes, and obscure trivia can be sliced together to create something new. It sparks bigger questions about our cultural moment, a time when much of art is defined by remix, parody, and intertextuality. Where is culture heading if everything is endlessly recycled? Hardcastle doesn't give an answer, but he stages the question in clay, and that's what makes the series worth revisiting. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I know this video might have been a bit different, but I hope you enjoyed it just the same. Please go and give Lee Hardcastle some support. I guarantee you won't be disappointed by his work. If you like deep dives on stop motion and other forms of animation, consider subscribing to our channel as well. We're just passionate artists who love the craft. If you have any other suggestions of what you'd like us to cover too, please leave us a comment down below and we'll consider making a video on it. That's it for now guys, see you next time.